that a cloud of mystery still surrounds the bizarre events of the 6th of September 1852. Two local boatmen brought Mr. and Mrs. Kirwan to the island by rowing boat for a day trip. Mr. Kirwan liked to engage in artistic pursuits and Mrs. Kirwan liked to swim, so Ireland's Eye was the perfect location for both of them to enjoy a day out. The boat was to return at dusk. At around 4 p.m, another couple, Mr. Brew and his wife, spent a short time on the island, and when they were about to leave, they noticed a strange look on Mrs. Kirwan's face. She was asked to join them on their return journey to the mainland, but declined. At the trial, it was reported that cries of distress were heard from the island at around 7 p.m. The two boatmen, Michael Nangle and his cousin Patrick, rowed back to the island at 8 p.m. to find William Kirwan awaiting their return. But where was Mrs. Kirwan? She apparently had gone off to bathe around 6:30 p.m. and not returned. A lengthy search ensued, and at about 10 p.m. her body was eventually found by Patrick Nangle on a rock in the Long Hole. This part of the island is completely filled with water when the tide is in, and altogether dry when the tide is out. An inquest was held the next day in Howth, and a verdict of found drowned was returned. The deceased was buried in Glasnevin Cemetery. Some weeks later, Mr. Kirwan took into his house a Miss Keeney, with whom he had allegedly been living with for the duration of his 12-year marriage to Maria, and who had borne him 8 children. Rumour and suspicion then grew, and an order for the exhumption of the by now badly decomposed body was granted. An autopsy proved that Mrs. Kirwan had no water in her lungs, hence she didn't drown after all.